even though there's no direct date for when Westfield Road was built, we can pretty much infer quite confidently that it was 1854. And how can I do that? The evidence is provided by one Mr. Coleman, who was of the Surbiton Improvement Commission, who in 1856 stated that there are 264 people living in 42 cottages. Oh, yes. The road is in several parts in sloppy condition, owing to the objectionable practice adopted by some of the inmates of the houses. Not throwing all their slops into it. There was no drainage, but there was a presence of small cesspools. But they weren't productive of any serious nuisance due to the road being only 2 years old. So go back 2 years, 1856, and you have...
That's this side of the road, because the other side was built later.
The thing is, in those days, there were pigs and all sorts of animals.
Exactly.
So it was muddy.
It was muddy. It was muddy. So despite being so close to the filter beds, which are famous, of course, for clean water, there's actually an insufficient supply of clean water, due mainly to the lack of cisterns. No cisterns were provided because the landlords didn't want the expense of providing a cistern to their residents. And the clean water was only pumped out for around 2 to 2.5 hours a day from the filter beds, which just wasn't enough, owing apparently to the lack of buckets. One thing you probably find that buckets weren't enough. In 1858, the landlords of the road paid for it to have a sewer, and Surbiton slowly got connected to Kingston's sewerage system. However, the nasty smells of this road stayed around because the wind blew from Cleveland Road, which didn't get a sewer until 1862. Most of the houses on the census records here show that around two-thirds let out a room to tenants. Most of them were adult males. Most of them are recorded as being in the building, labouring, or gardening professions. Many of the men were also born outside the area of Surrey, many coming from the industrial north, probably giving a link to the filter beds and the work that happened. I'll say probably a bit more about that on the other side. And you were saying something about the history of the arc?
It's called Westfield Road because it was the Westfield and Maple Farm. And this side of the road was built first. Apart from the Gothic, I don't know when the Gothic houses were built, but the cottages down here were built when you said the road was started. And then the houses on this side were built around about 1923, 1924. And they were built by the Jones brothers, who have this very recognisable architectural style with the sort of the dropped gable or whatever. And they built these roads, Maple, the Knoll, and there's quite a lot of their houses in Berrylands as well. And you can just instantly tell because of this very distinctive style that they've got. Originally viewed the house about three doors up, and that still has the original kitchen, which is beautiful and all wood and with a hatch through and everything. But then we saw this house, which suited us better, and it was a Sunday, and it was a really hot Sunday, and we liked it so much we went straight to the only time we've ever been to Corky's Wine Bar. Sat outside, wrote the little note saying, "We want this house, don't give it to anybody else," and put it through the estate agent's door.
That's brilliant. Hey.
But I suppose the thing that I'd like to say about this house is that we have swifts. And swifts are very important in the area, and I think probably the filter beds contribute to their staying around here because of the food. And we regularly have between 3 and 5 swifts nests in our eaves. And the swifts, I don't know if you know about swifts, but they come from Africa, and they come to the same nest in the same house every year, and they stay on the wing. They fly from Africa, they arrive on the 1st of May, give or take a few days. And they breed, and then they leave around about the 1st of August, give or take a few days, and they fly back to Africa, and when the young fly back, they stay on the wing for a year or two, and they literally do everything on the wing. Everything. And I mean, they sleep on the wing, they
don't land at all.
No, they don't land, and then they'll come back here, and then the youngsters, that you see these screaming parties, and they just sort of play around and have fun. Until they're ready to the breeding age. And they're amazing, amazing birds, and they're aerodynamically unstable, so they're always, if you watch one carefully, it's always making these tiny little adjustments, and they just whiz. We've got a little balcony at the top of the back, and our loft conversion, and you can sit on there, and they'll whiz past.
Wow.
Doing about, I don't know, they do about 30 or 40 miles an hour, I think. Incredible birds, and they come all the way from Africa, just to our house. So we always crack open a bottle of champagne.
And you've named them all.
And then we crack open another bottle to wish them well on their journey home.
Yeah, that's it.